welcome to the Cajun Conservative Show, where I talk about life, talk about liberty, and yes, talk about the pursuit of happiness. And I show the world and the world and you, the audience, that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you're located. Remember that Jesus Christ is King, and He's coming back soon, so don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has already overcome the world. Ladies and gentlemen, to start off the show, I want to go ahead and say, please consider your prayers and your thoughts with the families for the victims of the Baltimore bridge collapse. This was a tragedy that happened in Baltimore, and it was just it was horrible. It was horrible that this happened. They saying it was a freak accident. It was the ship had some problems with the motors and all that stuff. The backup generators didn't kick on in time, and it is a tragedy. It is a tragedy what happened. Please keep your thoughts and your prayers with the victims. There was multiple people that were not found yet, and look, this you hear stories like this and you're like, man, hope that never happens. And this bridge just collapsed. So keep the families and the victims in your prayers. I don't know anybody that was on that bridge, but that was somebody's mom, somebody's dad, somebody's brother, somebody's sister, somebody's cousin. They were somebody's family, and I wouldn't feel right to start off this show without mentioning that it was just a tragedy that happened yesterday, and we weren't on the air yesterday. Had some things that happened that I couldn't make into the studio, but I want to address that today. Please keep them people in your prayers. All right, so let's start off the show. Ladies and gentlemen, former RNC chair Ronna McDaniel was hired by MSNBC, and it was not taken well. It was not taken well by some on the left side of MSNBC and NBC. I have a video I want to show you. If you're watching on YouTube and Rumble, you better see if the audio side, you better hear there's some Morning Joe, I forgot Murdow. They have a few people that were on there that were not happy with NBC, and I have some thoughts on this, and I want to show you this. Just take a listen to how people at NBC took their bosses hiring the former RNC chair. Just take a listen.
Associate myself with all my colleagues, both at MSNBC and at NBC News, who have voiced loud and principled objections to our company putting on the payroll someone who hasn't just attacked us as journalists, but someone who is part of an ongoing project to get rid of our system of government.
In this instance, NBC News, either wittingly or unwittingly, is teaching election deniers that what they can do stretches well beyond appearing on our air in interviews to peddle lies about the sanctity and integrity of our elections.
We weren't asked our opinion of the hiring, but if we were, we would have strongly objected to it.
My colleague Chuck Todd went full William McAvoy.
Is she speaking for herself, or is she speaking on behalf of who's paying her? When NBC made the decision to give her NBC News' credibility, you got to ask yourself, what does she bring NBC News?
Not about that.
No.
We welcome Republican voice. I wish more Republicans. I want Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney to get right here and come talk to me. The reality is, this isn't a difference of opinion. She literally backed an illegal scheme to steal an election in the state of Michigan.
And our democracy is in danger because of the lies that people like Ronna McDaniel have pushed on this country.
I've also said to election deniers, it's not just they can do that on our airwaves, but that they can do that as one of us, as badge-carrying employees of NBC News, as paid contributors to our sacred airwaves.
Take a minute. Acknowledge that maybe it wasn't the right call. It is a sign of strength, not weakness, to acknowledge when you were wrong. It is a sign of strength. And our country needs us to be strong right now.
Our country needs us to be strong right now. I wanted to say Joy Reid apparently don't know what a female is either, because she talked about Liz Cheney and Adam Kinslinger. I didn't know Adam Kinslinger is identifying as a female now. I'm just saying, hey, I don't know. Anyway, but going back to that, there was a lot in there. You had Joy Reid also saying that they want different opinions. Rachel Maddow saying, oh, well, admit when you were wrong. Well, MSNBC buckled because this is about Fox News. This was released 12 hours ago. MSNBC News officially drops Ronna McDaniel's following on-air backlash. That's right. The MSNBC has officially terminated its short-lived relationship with former RNC chair Ronna McDaniel, according to a memo sent to staff by the network bosses. It was only 5 days. 5 days to have a job. And I don't know if did she ever go on television? We don't know. Some news articles have her looking for legal counsel in this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's a few things I wrote down and we're going to try to cover at least 3 stories today. I'm trying because of yesterday, and I have a lot to say about RFK and some good stuff like that going further. But so first off, I want to ask the people at NBC, why didn't you fire these people that question your ability to hire talent for your network? I'm just, it goes to the point like this. These people went on your airwaves and criticized you. Everyday companies, mom and pop shops, or any company, Walmart, you talk bad about the company, there's a good chance you're going to get fired. Not Rachel Maddow, not Morning Joe, not Jane Paskowski. None of these people were fired. Why weren't these people fired? Well, they weren't going to ask her to come on her shows anyway. Okay, if you give them the freedom to invite whoever they want, hey, you give them that freedom. But to openly talk about your employer on television, that is dangerous. Look, we saw this with Dan Bongino a while back. Remember, Dan Bongino went, it wasn't Westward One. It was the company he does his radio show with. And Dan Bongino was told, you get in line or you're fired. We don't care how popular you are. Dan Bongino came back, and Dan Bongino said, look, we have a disagreement. We're not gonna talk about that disagreement no more. Why weren't these people fired? Why weren't these people told, hey, if you don't want to abide by our rules, you can go? Second point, why the bosses at NBC gave into their employees? They own the company. Now, I don't know how NBC's run. I don't know why they have if it's stockholders or the host make the, I don't know. But them caving into this shows the people at MSNBC who are hosting shows, hey, we can go ahead and do whatever we want now. They can. They proven, hey, if we go on air and criticize our boss, we can go ahead and do whatever we want now. We can say whatever we want. We can criticize them, and there's no problem with us staying on the air. And that could lead a revolt. That could lead a revolt. And this goes to, you can't go ahead and defy your boss, okay, unless it's something illegal or wrong biblically. But they went ahead and I can't believe that they still have their jobs. Like I said, why weren't these people fired? And for the bosses to say, hey, look, we hear your concerns. We're gonna go ahead and take your advice, and we're gonna go ahead and fire McDaniels. That's kind of like the prisoners running the prison. And now NBC can't do it unless they fire them. They can't do what they want at their own network now. They can't hire a conservative voice. Going to my next point, what was the real reason for the host of the NBC shows to be upset? The reason being, yeah, they can say that she was an election denier, that she pushed a coup and all that stuff. They can say all that. Ladies and gentlemen, the real reason why these NBC hosts did not want a Republican like McDaniel there is because they don't want they don't want a Republican conservative voice on their network. Now they want moderate Republicans. We heard Joy Reid say that. Well, I'll take Adam Kinzinger and I will take Liz Cheney any day of the week. Why Adam Kinzinger, who she apparently thinks is a female, and Liz Cheney? Because they're moderate and they hate Donald Trump. But when you come down to it, and I had a good friend tell me this a while back, if you come down to it, a lot of views that Liz Cheney has, they don't like. But they want those people there. Why? Because they're anti-Trump and they're really anti-conservative. To even name them as conservatives on that network is false information. But NBC, they want those type of Republicans, but they don't want real conservative Republicans on their network. That's why they did not want McDaniels. Because McDaniels would go ahead and give them a real conservative view. This is why The View likes the false Republican that's on their network. The lady that sits all the way on the right of your screen that they still don't give talking points to because she defends the Republicans. You have 4 other left-leaning women and you have a moderate Republican, and that's what they want. They didn't even like John McCain's daughter. John McCain's daughter was too conservative for them. They do not want a true conservative voice on their network. And my final point on this, and we're going to move on to the next story. Why would McDaniels want to work for NBC? Okay, look, I understand you just lost your job and you're trying to find some publicity. The last RNC chairman went ahead and worked for Fox News, but Fox News didn't even call McDaniels. So you know there's some issues right there. But why would McDaniels want to work for NBC? Out of all places, NBC. In my personal opinion, if NBC would call me and ask me, I might be a guest, but I wouldn't go work there. Now, if you're a paid contributor, that's you're working there. But why work in an environment like that when you know it's going to be hostile? It just don't make no sense. No conservative should ever want to appear on a left-leaning channel like NBC. They don't, again, going back to my last point, they don't want true conservative opinions. They want moderate Republicans. They want moderate views that are dangerous for this country. So for McDaniels to even consider going work there, now she's seeking legal action because working on there for 5 days and only getting fired because the other employees were mad. I don't know if that's going to be an issue for them, but I'm just saying. How long was her contract? They didn't even let the ink get dry on the paper. But McDaniel shouldn't even wanted to go work for NBC. I know she got money. Why would any true conservative want to work on a network like that? It just bothers me to think that, hey, we have a Republican that is willing to sacrifice her values to go work at a network like MSNBC. It's just it's a head scratcher. Again, they're not looking for a conservative view. They're looking for somebody to really lay down the hammer on and say, look, you're wrong, and make conservatives look bad. And I never understood why conservatives do that. Why would a Republican, unless you're a moderate Republican, go on The View? And look, I understand exposure. I understand it's a great opportunity. Look, Rush Limbaugh said it. You try to find as much opportunities to appear. That's why most of the time when people call me and say, hey, you want to be on a podcast? Absolutely. It's good exposure. I've been on one left-leaning podcast, and they treated me with respect until the next episode, and they called me a buffoon and a failure, and they called me all this stuff. And at that point, I said, you know what? I don't care how respectful they are. I'm probably not going to go on their platform. Now, if there's exceptions. I had the liberal trucker on my show. We did a special episode, and we were respectful, and the liberal trucker till this day has not talked bad about me. He has said he disagrees with views, but he has not criticized me on his channel. And I have not criticized him on my channels or my platforms. I would go ahead and, hey, if the liberal circle called me, I probably would appear and have a good conversation with him. But it's rare. I would not go on any liberal-leaning podcast if they're going to try to use me as a punching bag. I just won't. All right, moving on. Monday, Donald Trump was in court and had some good news. One, Donald Trump no longer has to post the full $454 million bail bond in his civil fraud case. This is coming from Politico. The court he appealed the decision of the $454 million bond, and the appeal court said, hey, that was kind of high. We're going to bring it down to $175 million. Now, to the average person, $175 million is still a lot of money, but it's a little bit more manageable for Donald Trump. Donald Trump has said he couldn't get a bail bond for that, $454 million, and they were about to take his businesses and his properties and his banking accounts. Now, this is all coming on the heels of him getting almost $3 billion from Truth Social that it has went public. My father-in-law told me last night that the stocks are going through the roof. It is making money. It's making Donald Trump money, and Donald Trump is happy. Now, Donald Trump will not get none of that money in time to pay his bail bond, but the civil court, the appeals court also said, look, you got 10 days to raise that $175 million. It's a little more easier. So that's a victory for Donald Trump. Now, that was the good news, but but some bad news happened on Monday and Tuesday as well. This is according to Politico. The Trump first criminal trial is now set for April 15th. That is when the jury selection is going to happen in New York. This is the hush money a scheme that come from Stormy Daniel and District Attorney Briggs. And it is going to start on April 15th, and right in the middle of political season. That's going to be one of my points going forward. And also, the judge on Tuesday decides, hey, we're going to throw a gag order on Donald Trump, not to mention almost anybody in the case. And it was funny. There's nobody else that has a gag order. The left-wing media or some of the plaintiffs or whoever it is that's supposed to be the victim, Stormy Daniels. There's a whole documentary of Stormy Daniels on Peacock where she's talking about this alleged time when she had a sexual affair with Donald Trump. So Stormy Daniels can talk about it. Stormy Daniels can have documentaries. Stormy Daniels can go on newspapers. She can go on podcasts. It don't matter. But Donald Trump, shut up. You cannot say anything. Donald Trump is being gagged from voicing his opinion on social media. Now, let's go to the points of these stories that I have. First, the appellate court did right by reducing the bail bond. There is some that are saying, no, it was wrong. He broke the law. He did this. He did that. This case is New York. New York did this case where there was no victim, no fraud. The banks got all their money. They negotiated a deal. Nobody was hurt. The whole reason this case was brought before and it was set, this bail was set was so high, was for Letitia James and New York to take Donald Trump's properties, and so that it would hurt his campaign. Because on another point, all these trials, all these cases are in the middle of campaign season. They're trying to get court cases where Donald Trump can't campaign. If you're telling me that's not election interference, what isn't? If you're trying to tell me that this is not to stop Donald Trump from running for president, what isn't? They're trying to rush where they can take his property and take his money so he can't run his campaign. All these trials, all these court cases are to stop Donald Trump. You can tell me whatever you want. I'm gonna believe that until I'm 6 feet under. Donald Trump is being politically persecuted by the left because Letitia James, Andy Briggs, all these people that were involved, the DA of Fulton County, that used her boyfriend to go ahead and all this stuff, to cahoot to get Donald Trump convicted in Georgia. I believe they all ran on saying, hey, we're going to go after Donald Trump. That is not right. This is why the judge also put in the gag order again for Donald Trump to shut up. It's to limit him from voicing his opinion about a trial. Oh, Isaac, he's slandering people. He's making people look bad. Okay, he has the freedom of speech. I understand that. You know, you should understand that he has the freedom of speech, but why is it okay for everybody else to talk except Donald Trump or his lawyers? Because Donald Trump is exposing people. This is one of the reasons why every gag order was put into place. Well, Mr. Trump, we don't think you should tell people what's going on in the case. While everybody else is telling, this is what's going on in the case. This is to stop Donald Trump. Why? Because as long as he has a platform, he's showing the world and that are all in this case, or in these cases, all these cases are not about justice, but retribution, because he won for president when he wasn't supposed to. That's in my notes. He was not supposed to be the president of the United States. He wasn't supposed to take over. He wasn't supposed to be Hillary Clinton, and he did. That's the reason why they're going after him. And they're trying to use him as an example. Hey, if whoever thinks about running for president and wants to go after the establishment, don't. We're too big and we're too powerful. And they're trying to show up Donald Trump, which leads me right into my next news story. RFK. If RFK is listening, and look, I got access to their press team. I might have to email them and see if they'd like to come on the show. I know some people that vote for RFK. I won't, and I'll tell them right when they come on if they will come on the show. Hey, I'm not voting for you, but I'd like to get your opinion on a few things. But RFK, he picked his running mate, and before going to that, finishing my thought, RFK needs to be careful. I called him the Donald Trump of the Democrat Party. He would have beat Joe Biden in the. I believe he would have beat Joe Biden in the primary. I could be wrong. But anyway, going back to RFK, RFK has announced his running mate, and it is Nicole Shanahan. Shanahan. I call her Shanahan. She is a wealthy enterprise entrepreneur, and she's a tech person. Now she is according to Fox News, she's running with she's planning on leaving the Democrat Party. She is a Democrat. She supported Joe Biden in the 2020 election. She's switching now to Kennedy when he launched his own run. She has donated to Kennedy in the past. Kennedy announced Shanahan by praising her insight into how big tech uses AI to manipulate the public, her athletic ability, and willingness to be a partner in a number of policies arenas, including securing the border. If you notice, Robert Kennedy starting to talk more about securing the border because that's a hot issue, and most Americans are worried about that. Again, she dropped $4 million to support the PAC that's boosting his candidacy. The reason that he came out and early and announced this was because some states you have to have your running mate to apply to run on the ballot. She's a BioEcho founder. She's the president of the BioEcho Foundation. Now Trump and him did come out and say some things about her. I'm gonna get the. This is from the Trump Super PAC Make America Great Inc. Robert F. Kennedy is a far left radical that supports retributions backed by the Green New Deal and wants to ban fracking. It's no surprise he would pick a Biden donor leftist as his running mate. MAGA Inc. spokesman Alex Prevecki charged in a statement. So she's a left-leaning person. She has in the past voted for Joe Biden, and she's a Democrat. So is Robert Kennedy. The only reason Robert Kennedy is running for president as an independent is because the Democrat Party did not want to give him any airtime or debates, and the Democrat Party was full-blown Joe Biden. They didn't even think about Robert Kennedy, and that is because he is an anti-vaxxer. He believes he has certain views on the border that does not align with the Republican Party. Robert Kennedy has some good points. I'm not going to sit here and say he doesn't have any good points. He does. And he's gaining a following. I think he's holding about 11% of the vote right now. Now, does this help RFK? Yes, it helps, yes and no. Let's start off with the no's first. This isn't going to help him because, unfortunately, this woman is not a popular person. I didn't know who she was until the announcement came down yesterday. So, she's not really known in the political world. People that are technical, they might know who she is. Or, rich people might know who she is. Now they might donate to Robert Kennedy. There's a possibility. We don't know, but I'm just saying she's not a popular person, especially in the political world. If you notice, when candidates pick VP, you have their VP picked, is usually by genealogy, or is by is by popularity, so they can get more votes. So this is, it's not going to help. With that being said, this is not going to sway true Republican and conservative voters. It's not going to sway Democrat liberal voters that are loyal to Joe Biden. He could have picked the Pope, okay, to be his vice president candidate, and people would still vote for Donald Trump or Joe Biden. There's just some hardcore people that are out there that would say, hey, you know what? He might have some good points, but we're sticking with Donald Trump because Donald Trump has been a proven leader. They will say the same thing about Joe Biden. Joe Biden's a proven leader, and we think they would be best to fit to run the country. And it's just loyalty. Some people are just loyal. Now, you might ask, well, Isaac, hold on. What about you? Are you one of them people that just loyal to Donald Trump? Listen, if Robert Kennedy would have came out and said, look, I'm against abortion, I believe in drilling, and came out and gave all the Republican points and meant it, I would consider Robert Kennedy as a presidential candidate. But Robert Kennedy has been caught by saying, hey, look, I don't think abortion is wrong. He has been pushing left-leaning issues. There are some things I agree with Robert Kennedy, but I still see him as a far left-leaning person. Same with his pick. So that's not going to sway my vote from Donald Trump. Out of all three candidates in this race that are credible, and they are three, because you cannot deny that Robert Kennedy is a credible candidate, because, like I said, he's holding about 11% of the vote. That could sway an election either way. We'll have to see if it's more Democrats than Republicans or Republicans and Democrats, because you have this argument too. Oh, it's going to help Trump. Oh, no, it's going to help Biden. We won't know until election day. Me personally, he's a left-leaning candidate. There's going to be some people that don't like Joe Biden. There's more people that don't like Joe Biden than Donald Trump, in my opinion. So I feel it's going to help Donald Trump. And if I was Donald Trump, I wouldn't endorse Robert Kennedy, but I would go ahead and hey, Robert Kennedy, start attacking Biden a little bit more. But it's not going to sway nobody's vote. Like I said, he got a good point that he is a credible presidential candidate. Where does it help him? She's a woman. It does help him on that. He will pick up a few suburban successful women because she's a suburban successful woman. And also, you got to realize who's the other team that is running against Robert Kennedy right now. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Donald Trump has not named his vice president candidate. It wouldn't surprise me that Donald Trump picks a woman. It would not surprise me, because this is a large group of people that are targeted by all campaigns. Because you hear all the time, the suburban successful woman, they will sway the votes. And it's funny how the left does that. Oh, the black vote will sway this one, the right, the Hispanic vote, and all so-called groups sway left. But Donald Trump did win in 2016 with a lot of those votes going his way, and I think some more will go his way. They went in 2020. But yeah, she's a woman, and I think this is one of the reasons why Robert Kennedy got her, because it could sway some of these votes. So that will help him out in that way, some way, shape, or form. He might get some extra votes. Also, it takes away from the Biden campaign's argument that, hey, you women, vote for us because we got Kamala Harris on our side. That takes that all away. That takes that all away, because now they can't run and say, well, Robert Kennedy is a sexist. He's a this. No, he has a woman vice president candidate. So that takes that away. And again, it goes to the point where with Donald Trump would pick a woman VP. By the way, who was the first person to pick a woman VP? It was John McCain. Just to throw it out there, it was a Republican, not a Democrat. But anyway, if Donald Trump would pick a woman VP, I'm not advocating for this, but I'm just saying, if you pick a woman VP, that argument's out the window. Hey, y'all vote for us because we're the party of letting women be empowered. Now, they might switch it up and say, well, hold on. The only reason these two are doing that because we started, so we're trailblazers. So, yes and no, this is a good argument, but it takes away the argument that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is the best fit because there's a woman that is in the administration. On my final point with this, will the decision win RFK the presidency? No, I don't think so. He has made an impact on the presidential race so far. I don't think it's enough to win the election, and I could be wrong because there's a lot of people that are running polls. They're just running Biden and Trump, but if Robert Kennedy gets a certain amount of voters, he gets on the debate stage. I have a whole view on will Joe Biden even go on a debate stage. I doubt it. Me and a good friend was talking about this the other day, and he's a Robert Kennedy voter, and I said it would be a nightmare just to have Donald Trump and Joe Biden on the stage. Imagine Donald Trump, Robert Kennedy, and Joe Biden. Now, Robert Kennedy and Donald Trump, I don't think Donald Trump will focus on Robert Kennedy too much. Robert Kennedy will have to focus on Joe Biden and Donald Trump to gain some headway. But imagine Donald Trump and Robert Kennedy both attacking Joe Biden on his policies. You don't think the man talks now and he stutters now? I think his brain would fry. But so he has made an impact. He will get on the debate stage. If I read right, he holds 11% of the vote right now. 11% of the polling right now. If that is true, he gets on the debate stage. We don't even know if he's going to be on all the ballots yet, but that's something we're going to have to wait and see. But he has made an impact. I don't think it's going to be enough to change America's view. Unless you have more Americans that don't want Donald Trump and Joe Biden, then you have a shot. But I don't think he made enough headway. However, I do think he will either get Joe Biden elected or Donald Trump elected because it depends on who votes what. If you have more independents say, look, we don't like both of them, we're going to vote more for Robert Kennedy. Well, whoever turns out the base more, that's who's going to win. And then you have more red states than blue states. I don't think he made an impact enough to win this election. So, with that being said, that is the last story for today. And yes, I went a little long, but I'm probably going to start doing this. There's more stories coming out. And if you see the prep I did for this one, you can hear I'm a little more prepared than normal, just not shooting from the hip. So, I'm excited to see what God has in store for this show. And as always, if you can, please like and share to your social media account. You can also like us on Facebook and Twitter. Well, X and on TikTok. Right now, we are a TikTok live ban. We can't go live on TikTok until Friday. When that happens, we will go ahead and get back on TikTok as well and try not to say something that would offend TikTok. So with that being said, again, Jesus Christ is King. He's coming back and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart for all the problems of the world because Jesus has overcome the world. All you have to do is know Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, and he will give you peace and give you joy that is beyond comprehension. And just to remind you, please go check out our good friends at Give-A-Derm. Give-A-Derm is a all natural skincare product that works. The reason I know we use Give-A-Derm, we have Give-A-Derm at home. They're a great product that is made in America. Again, all natural product. No toxin chemicals, that goes on your skin that can hurt your skin. Give-A-Derm is worried about your health. Go ahead and check them out. The description is in the bottom. The link is in the description at the bottom of your screen or in the description of your podcast. So until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one.